The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on June 5th, 2021, under the constellation of Gemini, in the mental week examining through the sacral chakra. Me. Sometimes I start watching the news, something I instantly regret, but it is because I need to know what's going on in the world, although it is obvious that the media does not show what is going on in the world, but a brief part of it. Beyond what is true and what is not, there is something evident that can be seen every day, and it is the incessant destruction that the world lives. It is kind of striking that we have an imperative need to destroy what others have created and what we ourselves have built. Why? I am Shiva. Remember what Shiva said to you on Mount Kailash in Tibet? Me. Do not fear destruction. It is part of creation. I am. Do not be responsible for that which is destroyed, for destruction is imminent. Be busy building while the other forces are busy destroying and clearing your path. Me. It is a painful vision. I am. It is seen from a narrow moral vision. Remember, to construct comes from calm, together, and stuyuri, to accumulate, to pile up. Therefore, to destroy comes from de, to set apart, and struer, that is, to separate, to dissipate things that were assembled or piled up. The universe is a construction that is destroyed in the diverse. The division, the diversification of the cosmos, is the destruction of the universe, although from our point of view, you see it as a construction. Life, evolution, is a creative process that multiplies forms, develops them in millions of ways, resembles creation, when for the first particle it is nothing more than a constant of entropy that leads us to chaotic disappearance. What in diversity you call life, the universe calls death. To return to the essence of the universe is to go through death to define eternal life, where you rebuild yourself, reuniting all of the parts in which you have divided yourself to return to unity. Me. It is all a matter of perspective. I am. Starting from this basis, you can understand the logic of destruction and construction, of universal distension and contraction. Me. The constant to go on, to move forward. I am. Things that are not destroyed cannot advance, because in the universe, in every world, there is a material limit which reuses the parts of those same structures to create new ones. Nature is a clear example of regeneration by destruction. In every change of season, in the fall of leaves, in the fires that give rise to new shoots, volcanic eruptions that give nutrients to the fields and fertilize them, the storms that allow the discharge of tension in the environment that bring rain and atmospheric changes, the earthquakes that allow the creation of rivers and mountains. Me. All the destruction seems to be in a state of order. I am. But it is not. The truth is, it is chaotic, but a chaos that has managed to find, after millions of years, the way to adapt. For you, today, oxygen is something normal and stable, but for the first beings of this world, it was a toxic poison. Plants had to adapt to be able to manage this gas in minimal doses, and animals had to struggle to breathe and to live under the pressure of this gas. What you live today with normality and apparent harmony supposed millions of years of suffering and conflict on the first organisms that had to make an effort like no one else to achieve that you today can eat and breathe without major problems. The total naturalness. Me, I understand. The means that force us to evolve are chaotic. It's just that we tend to live the result and naturalize it as order. I am. That's right. It's what you would call the short-termism, that hope that everything will happen in a short time. Now, like now. That view does not allow you to contemplate the long time scale of history. Me. So I should see wars and human suffering as part of development. For how much longer? We have been living through conflict for thousands of years, and there are conflicts that have lasted right up to the present day for thousands of years. How can I deal with this reality? I am. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old since its creation as a glowing rock. Oxygen did not appear as a fundamental element and in large quantities in atmosphere until about 2.4 billion years ago, in a process called the Great Oxidation. But this did not happen overnight, and those responsible for this happening were living organisms that did not need oxygen to live. These were the cyanobacteria, which perform photosynthesis. However, in the production process, something annoying and unnecessary for them was generated: oxygen. Basically, they were excreted oxygen, which for 1 billion years filled the atmosphere. Me, 1,000 million years of just bacteria defecating, urinating, releasing oxygen gases. Wow, what a time. Almost like hanging out at my high school friends studying for a final exam, but with methane. I am. If it makes you feel comfortable with the comparison, yes. In short, the atmosphere took 1 billion years to form, and it would take another 500 million more to develop the first beings capable of processing oxygen and using it as an energy source. The human Homo sapiens, modern human, has only 150,000 years on the face of Earth, being that as a hominoid, he appeared about 3 million years ago. The cultures that developed civilizations are no more than 15,000 years old, and the construction of recent history is 6,000 years old. Me. We are still struggling to adapt to our own oxygen, aren't we? I am. That's right. In evolutionary terms, human consciousness and reason are very young, just taking steps in their development. They look to social order, laws, and morality for some sort of balance, but even so, they fail to recognize that this order is not produced by external forces, but by internal potential. It is the development of the organism itself, of the individual beings itself, that makes the transcendental change in its way of acting in the world, and not the moral pressure of others. Me. Are you suggesting that no matter how much social injustice we generate, no matter how much division of powers, no matter how much we intend to control those who do harm to protect us from disruptors, the system will always fail? I am. As has every system before yours. Look out the window. Do you see the pyramid? Me, yes. I am. Built by one of the most harmonious and evolved civilizations of the past, Atlantis, Kef. And yet it passes into the hands of the Egyptians, another civilization that achieved stability and law. And yet, look at it, destroyed. Rocks, dust, a skeleton. Look at Babylon, Iraq, Greece, Rome, still largely buried underground. Examples of order, law, stability destroyed, reduced to pieces. Me, a pity. I am. Are you sure? Me. Well, it's ugly to see such destruction. I am. If those civilizations had not been destroyed, you would still be under the control of the polytheistic empires, under Roman law, under Caesar or Pharaoh. Me, that's true. But is there any way that they don't have to destroy themselves in a way? Can't there be a natural continuity? I am. That is what we have described. Humans live on 3 mental levels: subconscious, unconscious, and conscious. In the subconscious process, the regaining mechanisms are those of survival. Eating, sleeping, producing, and therefore safety and defense are taking care of mechanisms of continuity. Necessity is the key to this level. In the case of unconsciousness, everything that is done in function of polarity, of extremes, of currents that group and grant security as long as one is placed in an extreme. This generates ideologies, beliefs, belonging, which leads to the idea that things are on one side or the other, right or left, up or down, victim or victimizer, powerful or poor, war or peace, good or bad, inside or out. Successively, the unconscious mind will create enemies, opposites that give a sense of location and belonging to your being. And ultimately, you have the conscious level and the one that recognizes itself as being in the process of development that does not depend on anyone and yet is a fundamental part of the whole, where there are no sides or polarities that are valid, but intentions that must be manifested by the inner potential without having to drag others one's own way. Me. So until we've reached a level that overcomes our unconsciousness, connecting with our consciousness of being, we will be living powerful, painful processes of destruction. I am extreme. That will take time. Me. And in the meantime, I am. You must be like those cyanobacteria, but instead of delivering oxygen, you will deliver consciousness. You must be the cell that becomes a multicellular organic network, like a tree, slowly creating a forest on the ruins of an ancient civilization. Deliver the oxygen of consciousness, not because you want the world to be conscious, but because it's your nature to be conscious and to share it. Build, not because you want to change the world, but because you consider yourself that change every day. And in your surrender, others will learn to breathe consciousness. Me, oh, I've never seen it this way. Excreting consciousness as my own nature, bestowing an environment for others to learn to use it, without pretending that they do so for now, for we are in the process of development. I am. Things will be built and destroyed constantly. It is a matter of your level of consciousness if you will suffer that destruction, what will move you to that destruction, or if that destruction will be gradual and conscious towards something new without the need to break anything. Remember, on the ruins of Mexico grew jungles. On the ruins of Europe grew forest. And on the ruins of Asia grew fields and jungles. And the ruins of Africa, sand spreads and silt fields grew. Life goes on slowly, and what you see as destruction, the universe sees as opportunity. It shifts the focus from that which is destroyed to build a new opportunity for those who suffer the destruction. Me, as bacteria did with animals. I am, as the conscious will do with the unconscious. Me, I am a builder and destroyer of worlds. I am, simply because I am eternal. Me, and in eternity, I am one and I am not. I am. constant creation.